Okay, everybody. Welcome back. How y'all doing? Guess I should probably turn off my tweet deck, but I wanted to make sure that we were, streaming uh, live and in chai. No, how would you? I gotta say something that rhymes. Streaming large and in charge. There we go. That's how to say it. That's how they say it. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. My weekend was actually quite good. Um, went to B-Sides Seattle and I have seemed to have forgotten my water bottle again. So at some point, I'm going to dash out, go get my water bottle, and come back. We'll deal with that at a different time. Uh, just before we get started, I'd like to thank uh, Thomas, who it goes by THENRO2. He very kindly subscribed for 6 months as a tier one subscriber. Amazing person. He, I wrote back to him shortly before I went on here, and I said, "Hey, holy crap! Thank you so much for the 6 month donation. Means so much. We appreciate it." And he wrote back, "I've been a long time listener, and it's about time. I've also enjoyed the Slack and look forward to the Discord and Twitch." So he's amazing, and thank you so much for the long term investment. I hope, Thomas, that I do that you get everything you want out of this, and if you have any questions, let me know because I'm definitely thankful for that. Also, I'd like to thank FootTech02 for following and more to keep track. Okay, more to keep track of. All right, so but yeah, thank you to all of our followers and all of our subscribers. I have the Zoom on because I did not hear back from Miss Berlin if she was going to be joining us. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and then I'm going to probably kill the Zoom because it's going to kill itself in about 7 minutes because nobody else is on with me and I'd be talking to myself. And there might be a little jankiness with the audio or the video, but I'll make sure that everything is good to go. So. Uh, had a good weekend. I went to I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can. Is it if it's backwards, I apologize. It does say B-side Seattle. I would flip it around to see if it was any different, but it's the same thing on the other side. So this was their I don't know if this is their updated logo, but they were working on trying to get something different than what they had in the past. Um, I don't have the t-shirts either. Had a lovely conference. It was, spread out. To be honest, they had expected to have 1,200 people in the event, but because of social distancing that was still going on, they required masks and full vax, which I was all in on, and they ended up with I think they said around 300, 350 or something like that. Um, but it was a very good conference. There were a lot of excellent speakers. There was, let me see, besides Seattle. There we go. Besides Seattle, uh, their thing was now in 3D, which was pretty awesome. Let me see talks. Some of the talks didn't happen, which was kind of sad. I did hear that some people ended up having to not show up due to illness. I don't know if it was COVID or if it was just flu or what have you. But what I'm hoping to do is to reach out to some of these folks. I've already reached out to Ritu, Gil, OSINT Techniques. Had a lovely talk with Ritu about coming on the show. I'm always down for OSINT related discussions. I know, y'all know my discussions and talking with Joe Gray on things, but I always love to get different points of view from folks. And it hey super lolly. The conference was great. I'm actually just where I was actually kind of giving a debrief right now. So welcome. Hope this is a bit more of a friendly time for you, Super Lolly. And let me see what are we looking at? Yeah, hopefully it's a little nicer time. It's a little nicer time for you, but yeah. So we had, like I said, about 300 people, and oh, cool. Okay, excellent. Happy Monday. Well, I'm sorry. Um, S/happy//G or whatever, and just get rid Monday. Just call it Monday. Um, but yeah, it was great. As much as I hate to admit it, I think in-person conferences are still really great. I mean, there's definitely I think there's still definitely a need to have a virtual component or an online component maybe for folks that, you know, if I didn't live in Seattle, it would be really hard for me to want to fly to Seattle to come to a conference or, a 1 day conference when you're spending pretty much a day flying just doesn't get it for me. So, other conferences like when I used to go to DerbyCon, which was a 3 to 4 day conference, was a little more likely. Or everyone wants to go to Hacker Summer Camp. You know, that's 4 to 5 days, so it makes more sense. But if you're spending roughly half of the travel time, and which equals the conference, it makes it kind of difficult. So, um, hey, super. What kind of conferences do you have in your area of the world? Is there like a B-side Singapore? Is there a B-sides? What kind of conferences do you have over there? I know there's some stuff up in China. Like I think there was a Black Hat China at one time. But yeah, I'd love to find out what conferences y'all have over there. And maybe you can talk about them in chat, and maybe we can drum up some business for those folks. So yeah, a lot of good discussions. I actually was interested in the IoT related ones. I actually saw this one from Sid Keen. Was talking about supply chain security. I actually stayed in this one because I was hoping to see the IoT one next, and unfortunately, it did get rescheduled and canceled. But this was an interesting one, talking about software bill of materials. Being able to catalog what applications are in um, your fancy widgets, your programs and stuff. So, talked about some of the stakeholders and getting involved with that, and got to ask some questions about granularity. And, we've talked about it on the show here. We had, in the before times, what do we call it? BS in the BS time before stream. We had Dr. Alan Friedman from the National Telecom Infrastructure Association, NTIA, I think, ntia.gov, ntia.gov, National Telecommunications and Information Administration. My bad. Trying to make it. Anyway, he was working on some of the first bill of materials or bombs or S bombs in this case to try to help with supply chain security. I believe he's moved on over to Caesar, something like that. But yeah, it was a good discussion. If you ever get a chance to check that out, go check out our podcast on that one. But yeah, it was, we were talking a little bit about the granularity and, asking vendors and third parties for them and what you should see in them, and, the problems with generating them in the first place where, developers are not wanting to, you get some developers that treat documentation as something that can be done after everything is shipped. And then, oh, well, they don't actually get around to doing it. So we were talking about how ways you can automate that into the process. So like if your Jenkins or your build environment is pulling dependencies here, you can, maybe parse the logs, or you can look at options or opportunities to keep track of your large, at least your larger dependencies. Things like Log4j, which we found out later on, are like second, third, even fourth level dependencies. So, you've got this thing and it depends on these two things, and these two things depend on two things, and so on and so on. And your log4j is down here. You may not even know that it's being called or being used down here, but having the ability to dig down there, that would be great. Super Lolly says, I actually have no idea about InfoSec conferences here. From what I know, most companies here will send their reps to the conferences in the US or Europe. Ouch. And so super. What I was thinking about was kind of how B-sides has like global bsides.org, I believe. When we had Ming Lim on last, oh, that's not it. B-sides infosec. There it is. Security B-sides. My bad. Yeah, there's conferences all over the world, and some people, well, this is not the best page. I was hoping they had like a map or here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Let's blow this bad boy up. Come on, move mouse. There we go. So we have conferences in, we've got, looks like we've got B-Sides. What's this one here? This one is B-Sides Hyderabad. Oh, very cool. My wife just came from Hyderabad. B-Sides Bangalore. We have B-Sides Mumbai. Ahmedabad. I think that's it. I apologize if that's not correct. And this one is, wow, Maharash. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this and I ruined that name. It looks like Mahara. Ooh, Maharashtra. Maharashtra. Oh, there is a B-side Singapore. I knew I had seen and heard of that. Yep. And then there's a B-sides. Is that Phnom Penh? Cambodia. B-sides Cambodia. Okay. But so ideally, I wasn't thinking about sending sales reps or anything like that. I was thinking about like, what do people who are not in the United States who have a ton of conferences and options to go to do for information security conferences? I mean, there's a number of them in Europe. There's a couple in Africa. There's besides Accra, besides let's see, oh Johannesburg, I think Jayburg, is that Johannesburg, Cape Town, besides Cape Town, Nairobi. Oh, very cool. Okay, and then yeah, you got stuff in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, Japan, besides Tokyo. Yeah, and then there's some stuff over in the Australia APAC region. But yeah, I mean the B sides of B side there. Come on, pull it over. Okay. But so I was just wondering how y'all do conferences. If there's, I'm not talking like vendor conferences or trash like that. I was just thinking about how you know, how y'all find your education and how you network and that. So, but yeah, there's okay. I don't know why. There it goes. Okay, yeah. So we got a group of them here. Yeah, Bsides Seattle, of course. There's Bsides Victoria, Vancouver, Edmonton. I actually went to the virtual Edmonton one. That was actually really good. Being for a virtual conference anyway. A lot of these are 1 day conferences, which is like B-side Springfield. I actually spoke at B-side Springfield, Missouri. That's my near my town where my mama and my family live. But yeah, it's and then B-side San Diego, of course, I'll be going to that one. I think it's in October of this year, but yeah. So I mean, these are good things. There's also DEF CON and Black Hat, which everybody wants to go to. I actually had a number of people I was talking to at the conference today say they were not going to go to Vegas this year. They did not they did not feel safe to do so with the masking and the non-vaxxing requirements. So that's besides Las Vegas, of course, is the first one, the prime, the one that's got created. Um, so yeah, and I've 15 years in the industry. I have yet to go to Vegas for InfoSec conferences, DEF CON and Black Hat. I'm not going to break that streak, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so you've got B-sides Cairo coming up. B-sides LV is super underrated. Super underrated in like you shouldn't miss it, or it because I'm one of our officers for the InfoSec Education Foundation is one of the organizers of that, Wendy. Welcome DEF CON 201 live. Oh my God. Hope you're not having a watch party or something because I'm doing fuck all on here this tonight. So um, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about like besides LV, QueerCon, Diana Initiative. I believe there was a Blacks and CyberCon as well last year or in 2019. So there's a lot of, I think some of the subcons are actually better than the the major conferences themselves, which is good to know that there's not sub conferences but like side conferences to be able to go and enjoy and get different points of view and to find maybe something that wasn't on the main stage that should have been. Maybe the worst thing of Black Hat and DEF CON are those talks that got didn't make it to the stage but actually did better not on the main stages. So anyway, so back to the discussion here. So yeah, I saw Sid's talk. We actually talked quite a bit during the conference. We're gonna see if we can get him on to talk some more about how Log4j and everything kind of affected the supply chain. Another talk I saw was because I was wanting to see the IoT security stuff, but one of the other ones was really great was the TPM stuff. One of the people from Google, which his name is, or was he might have been a drop in, might have been a drop in. Yeah, I think okay. So that one was a drop in. It was Chris Fenn and was talking about TPM stuff. Let me TPM. Oh, there it is. Carte blanche. Oh, Chris Fenner. Sorry. And had a lot of great stuff talking about TPMs and what he did. And so the first thing you noticed when you went in and he started doing his screen shares and his demos was he was using a Surface 3, Surface Pro 3. And he started talking about some of the demos that he was doing where uh, he put Debian, he put Debian Linux on it, or not Debian, but Ubuntu Linux on it, and was able to start querying the TPM module. This is I don't know if this is the demo of what he talked about, but he was able to query the TPM module for the various PCR banks that are in there, and super interesting. One, I was just enamored by the fact that he successfully put Ubuntu on a Surface Pro 3. I'm going to definitely try that when I get back from my work trip. Um, but yeah, he showed how you could modify some of the fields, how you could pull those fields up, query all the different PCR fields that were in there. He actually one of the people that I've known from CSEC East. His name is Brian. Works for one of the companies. So yeah, here's the PCR banks. He was showing some of these. I think one of the outputs he showed was this one here. Very similar to what was in there. Where some of these, like the first, I think he said 6 are based for the BIOS. 7, 8, 9, and 10 are like for other things. 16 is a debug register, so you never want to use that one because it can be modified by anybody. And some of these other ones were kind of out of the way. So yeah, he's talking about how the bank of empty PCRs means an attacker could just boot up a custom OS that doesn't take any measurements. It was all about measuring and doing attestation of devices, especially which was big for me dealing with IoT security. You've got a lot of devices that are pretty much like this, you know, no real security on them because it adds additional costs by not, having a TPM module on a $5 IoT device when a TPM module costs a buck. That means this is now a $6 device instead of a $5 device. And since the margins of profit are so slim on these things as it is, you would actually not. Yeah, it was definitely some good hardware hacking stuff, Super Lolly. I'm desperately trying to get this person on the show to talk about some of this. Chris Fenner, he works. I believe. Well, let me make sure. I don't want to out him. They didn't. I don't believe they recorded the video, the talks, which is the other thing that I was like, what did it be? Oh yeah, okay. So he says for more information, see the full write up at Google Security Research. He yeah, posted this up in Google Security Research. So this is the Google's GitHub. So it's pretty safe to say Chris works for Google. And he had talked about some of the Surface Pro 3 stuff. He's got his own CVE here. And let me put that link in the notes. Doink. And I'll put that link to his blog in there as well. Yeah, very very cool stuff. The one thing that got me was he spoke. He explained everything very well, and he explained it, like we were 5 years old, but still kept it very very technical, and it was very cool to see that kind of talk where even I got something out of it. And I'm just a filthy PM at this point. So, hey, Kim Isaac, what's up? Welcome. How you doing? Just talking about post B-side Seattle discussion. So oh yeah, here's the PCR rip stuff. There we go. So yeah. Let me scroll back. And then the last one I think I saw was Oh no, I went to and hung out with the authors of this book. If that's backwards, I'm seeing it in Zoom as backwards. So it says reinventing cybersecurity, and it's kind of an anthology book. So it's each chapter is written by somebody. So it's a number of people in our industry. Uh, Carla Sun, Colleen Shane, Allison Snipe Gianotto, who runs Snipe IT, a bunch of folks talking about various experiences and reinventing futures. So like chapter one here from Latha Marapuri, five strategic priorities for the modern CISO. And then you have section, they have it broken into subsections too. So, like reinventing our future and then reinventing what we do and then reinventing who we are. So that was another one. So it's 316 pages. It's a nice fat book. You can get it on Amazon as well for $10. Um, went on sale. They actually had all of these were given out for free, which is pretty good. Kimisek doing really well. Yeah, it was a good weekend for security conference. It was rainy and not good outside, and it was a very nice big venue. Building 92 up at Microsoft's campus is the visitor center, and it's got huge amounts of classrooms and open space. So everybody was masked and vaxxed, so it was pretty safe. Nobody was wearing chin bras or anything like that, which was nice. So yeah, I want to have one or more of the authors on maybe to talk about some of the stuff that they had in here. I was reading the section from Angela Marafino, who is also a fellow podcaster and streamer. Angela Marafino. Uh, uh, oh, looks like she's Megatron AL. So there you go. Okay, now I need to follow her. So she's Megatron AL. Oh, why don't I now follow her? Okay, there you go. She runs the Hacker Book Club. I think it's on Slack and Discord as well. She also does podcasts for ITSP Magazine. So go check her out if you are looking for, some excellent content from ITSP. And interesting. Okay, so my Zoom hasn't died yet. Waiting for it to die because I just acknowledged its presence. Um, but yeah, so Angela's section was on. It was called. I have it bookmarked here with my trusty piece of paper. A little less yas queen and a lot more action. So um, here, let me see. She's talking about some of her security issues. Some of the things she's dealt with in her career. Uh, I'll do a little excerpt here just so y'all can get a bit of a taste. So she said, as I went through middle school and high school, I was always encouraged to do what I wanted regarding extracurricular activities and academics. If anyone ever told me I couldn't do something, it was likely a boy, and I was highly likely to respond, "Oh, really? Want to bet?" Followed by me proving, or at least attempting to prove, them wrong. I was somewhat rebellious, confident, and fearless throughout this time in my life. Typically, I would be the first to try something new or weird, and I was always up for taking on a dare or even a double dog dare. Oh my. Many of you, I'll skip ahead a little bit here. Cybersecurity 101. Many of you reading this will already know, but just in case you aren't aware, cybersecurity is a booming focus area of the technology industry right now. Booming, as in career changers and job seekers, are very popular and in demand. Booming also as in cyber criminals and attackers making bank off the lack of cybersecurity focused roles at all levels, teams focused on cybersecurity, and the precautions taken by organizations and individuals to protect themselves from these threats. You might be saying this has been a problem. You're absolutely right. However, as of this writing, which is April 2022, it is an increasingly pressing topic and is being discussed publicly more than ever in mainstream news and media outlets. Now is an opportune time to break into cybersecurity. I happened to stumble across this industry through an article in an in flight magazine while relocating to a new state. Once again, I was attempting to reinvent myself with a fresh start somewhere new. This wasn't the first or the last time I would do this, but it would turn out to be one of the most important. So it's not all stories like that. I mean, there's definitely some more strategic related items. There's stories like security health models, and there's some checklists in there. It's just a really cool book, and I'm gonna go look through some more of it. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth a look, definitely worth a read. I'm hoping to get one or more of the speakers or the authors of those chapters on in the near future to go through that. And I did tell them on Twitter that I was probably going to maybe read a couple excerpts from things, but I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, go follow Angela, Megatron AL, and the other person I met was Jasmine Henry, who is Jasmine Henry is a field security director. They all have a little a bio after each of their names or after each of their chapters. So, um, yeah. Oh, there's even a recipe in here for fruit tarts. Oh God, I love fruit tarts. Oh my goodness, I need to get that. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that one. You can make a flaky crust that's gluten free. So yeah, or somewhat keto free. So yeah, so going back to the in person thing. That was the first in person conference that I had not organized. InfoSec Camp Out being the one we did last year, but it had been almost 3 years since I think the last one I went to was DerbyCon in October 2019, and then that was it for me. And then you know pandemic. So uh, DerbyCon was the last one I think I'd gone to, the final DerbyCon. So um, oh, right. I did not put that in the chat. So it's in the stream chat there if you want to check out Angelina. Didn't say that right. I want to make sure I said it right. Oh, Angela Marafino. And so, yeah, you know what? There is a different energy doing something in person. I hate that because it kind of justifies the need for me to go to the on-site that my company's doing as well. I'm going to be down in LA tomorrow. I'm going to be down in LA till Friday morning. I actually have a meetup. I mentioned it in our Slack, and you know, first person I think I ever met on InfoSec Twitter or Twitch was MT Taggart, and who do you know? MT Taggart hit me up and said, "Hey, I I'm going to be in your area because I kind of told him where I was going to be and what neighborhood, and we're going to meet up and have some drinks, and we're going to talk about stuff and going to hang out and do things." And I was like, man, MT Taggart, he's a straight up good dude. You go check out twitch.tv for a sec. And there we go. All right. So I follow a few people now. So Black Sheep Spicy's on. Follow Black Sheep. MT Taggart. There he is. No, not Hazard. MT Taggart. There it is. So yeah, follow him. Make sure you catch his streams. He does a lot of great stuff, and you can see what he's doing. He does he's got everything broke down. You can tell he's got different ideas for things. So yeah, go and check him out. But yeah, we're gonna be meet for drinks and food truck food, and I mean, excellent person. So yeah, looking forward to that happening. Actually, gonna check in with him as soon as I get off the stream here and go, hey, we're still good for Monday night. But yeah, um, yeah. But yeah, so some of the other things you get to do when you're in person is get to talk to some of the vendors. And uh, for those of you who have listened to the audio podcasts for the last 8 years, we did not employ a lot of vendors or sponsors for that matter, strictly because there are a lot of snake oil and charlatans out there. And the people that really want to push their agendas or what have you, um, don't always have the best ethics. So one of the things that we also didn't want to do was bringing in the NordVPNs and the Manscapes of the world, and heard another one called Lumi gummies, low dose THC gummies, and I was like, Twitch does not have security companies asking to do advertisements for it. So I was like, I'm going to have to do this myself. I'm not going to be advertising a fucking gaming mouse, So one of the things that I, reached out to was Secure Code Warriors. So Secure Code Warriors ran the CTF, and her name was Teresa. We still get a lot of business cards. I didn't have any business cards, which pissed me off. Teresa, Secure Code Warriors, and she lives she lives in Chicago, and she got flown out here for Bsides Seattle, and I was like, well, where's the person in the Pacific Northwest? And and I guess they didn't want to volunteer, or weren't available, or there's something going on. And I don't want to say they didn't volunteer because I don't know, but something happened, they couldn't do it, and Teresa got flown out from Chicago, and got to talking to her about some of this stuff, and talking about the training that we have. And um, you know they have a learning platform, and you can learn how to do um, secure code learning platform stuff. And because I was asking about the CTF stuff for InfoSec Campout, and yeah, I mean, they have exercises. It's very much like the what was that the the coding exercises I put up. I think it was called Eat a Bit, EDA Bit. But yeah, they show people how to do, security training for code stuff, and I was like, wow, okay. I'm trying to talk to them to see if they would like to come on and do some sponsorships for us. Ideally, like I said, a lot of the more even popular streams, like I listen to High Rollers and those, and they would do manscaping commercials, or they would do NordVPN commercials, and I'm like, I can't do NordVPN. Anything that is advertised as military grade encryption just is, it's not a good product. I mean, it has a specific purpose, but it's not something that I think is should be highlighted. So, but anyway, NordVPN, it is what it is. So, um, yeah, it was a great time. I would heartily recommend, seeing if you can get out there, find a conference that, once you feel comfortable doing so, because I think a lot of these smaller orgs, or conferences especially, are not going to be doing the, in person and virtual thing. Um, I mean, even myself, I'm probably just going to have, the streams recorded, or at a minimum, I'm going to record the talks and then post them up to like a YouTube channel. But yeah, if you can get yourself out there and get back to meeting people again, it was so great to see Jeff and Tracy, she's the organizer of DefenCon up here in Seattle. Great to see her again. Ryan, got to see Ryan and Walter. He's one of our regulars on CSEC East. Who else did I see? I saw uh, Ryan, Walter, Jeff. He came and spoke at InfoSec Campout, if any of you were there. There was a couple of other folks. Scott. There was one guy. One guy came and saw me. Oh, at the end note. I do appreciate him so much. I don't know if he's listening on the Twitch stream here, but he took the time to come over and say hello. Thank you so much for, doing the show. And what got me, he said, you asked the questions that I would have asked, and you asked the questions that normal people would ask. I'm saying in context here, but I was happy with that, because I don't, I ask people to come on our show because I don't know what they do, or I need to be schooled. So I do this show for purely selfish reasons. It's me to meet people, talk to them, interview them, ask them questions about their job to educate myself, and then educating everyone else as a byproduct, I would hope. But yeah, it was great. To hear from folks that, loved the show, loved the podcast. Oh, you've got a Twitch. I'll have to not check that out. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. There are people out there who are like, I do YouTube even less, and I do Twitch non-existently. So I'm like, I get it. Hopefully you'll still listen to the audio podcast. This probably won't be an audio podcast, but it is what it is. So there's going to be an audio podcast for the forthcoming future. I don't see any reason to stop it now. I just posted part 2 of our discussion with Ming. Let me see. Yeah, we posted part 1 last week. We just posted part 2. Oh, And no. Oh, well, all right. Well, if you're a sponsor, here's some actual real time numbers. Yeah, so I just posted that one today. It's so there was like an hour and 45 minutes of audio. If you're a subscriber, you could actually go and get it now, and listen to it as VOD. I actually put a link to the VOD, but we talked about cybersecurity insurance companies who are now wanting to insert themselves into like PCI breach, for breach notifications and stuff. And yeah, it was a really great discussion and really great article. And we talked about B-Sides San Antonio. There you go, another B-Sides that she helps organize. So, but yeah, we posted it up. If you want to go check it out. But I mean, the VOD. I mean, the VOD has the entire length of that. If you're a subscriber, then you get access to all of our VODs up until about 60 days from now. So I think some of the earliest stuff is just starting to drop off. I need to probably archive those at some point, but yeah, I'll figure out. I'll do that this week on hotel Wi-Fi. So, uh, oh, and the keynote from Jessica Ferguson of DocuSign CISO was excellent. Jessica Ferguson, CISO DocuSign. There we go. Oh, I didn't know she lived in Bellingham. Okay. So yeah, she came in. I've already tried to connect to her. She's got a lot of people, probably trying to connect to her, and she's the CISO of a major corporation. So I don't expect her to reach out. I did tell her I saw her end note at Bsides Seattle, but oh, it'd be great to have her on the show. Anyway, so but yeah, she gave a great discussion about leadership, what it means to be a leader, how to stop doing what you can to remove the technical. If you've been an in the weeds kind of manager, when you become the CISO of Alaska Airlines, and then you become the CISO of DocuSign, which is no small company in terms of importance for legal stuff. She's talking about how it was. Very important to find that balance and understand that you have to change your filter. It's not a operational or tactical filter at the CISO level. It's more of a strategic thing. So having to school the CEO, and it was funny. She said the CEO um, of DocuSign was super worried about vulnerabilities. He was asking about vulnerabilities, and what can we do to protect ourselves from vulnerabilities. And she was saying, well, that's like 70% of the job is to convince somebody who comes from a sales background, being the CEO, to care about security. And she was like, yeah, he gets it. And I was like, that's pretty nice, that's pretty good. And she also talked about some of the legal issues. Apparently there's some legislation going through Congress where if a financial officer of a company says something, they could be financially held liable if that causes damage to the company or to people. They're trying to pass legislation to make remarks from security people in the organizations or from CISOs also under the same guidelines, where it actually can cause damage, and you have to report that, or you have to pay fines for being legally on the hook for something if you say it. So it was interesting insights to hear that was kind of heading that way. So if she could, I would love to have her come on and talk about that. But let me see. Um, the it was like I said. I'm just gonna wrap it up here. The Bsides Seattle was very very good. It was uh, you know I don't go to Vegas like I said, but I look forward to Seattle, Bsides Seattle every year. I'm just sad that I only have about one of them left, and then I'm going to be going down to San Diego. I'm sure Bsides San Diego's is great too, but uh, Bsides Seattle was my second conference that I would go to other than DerbyCon, and so it's always got a special place in my heart for that. So I do appreciate them and taking their time, Josh and Leah and all the other folks. I think Josh put out let's see, put out an email or a tweet, a thread today about it. Nerd, he is Nerd Monkey on Twits. There he is. Yeah. So he said it takes a village to put on. Michael K, the village lead. You had Amy, or I'm sorry, Leah. Amy's the other one. Hand of Order conference organizer, awesome. Safety team was excellent. Juliet Bravo. Um, yeah, and they had a lot of good volunteers, so it was really well run conference. So if Jack Daniels in the B-Sides org needs a grade card, I would say A, solid A, like on scale to 1 to 100, your scores 95. Boom, boom. I would no, you know what? I will say 100% because 95 is like, well, what did they mess up on? They didn't mess up on anything. It was great. There was, yeah, I mean, even my own conference is not that well run. So that was excellent for them and the whole crew. So there you go. All right. But yeah, we're the other reason I also like going conferences period is to be able to pull speakers. So try to hit them as soon as they get done talking. Hey, I'm Brian. I do a little podcast. I'd love to, or in this case now, a stream. I'd love to have you come on and talk about this with other folks. If they're being videotaped at the conference, it felt like they were a little less likely to do so. But some of these folks would like to actually get this information out to a larger audience. So it's very helpful to give them that opportunity. So, but yeah, yeah, there was a ton of stuff. Privacy, please. Oh, my friend Rebecca gave a talk about paranoia. It was the paranoia one. Oh no, not a little privacy, please. Paranoia. Paranoia. There it is. United in Paranoia. Codex I Lady. Codex I Lady. Or no, Codexity. Codexity? Yeah. Uh, let me There you go. Go. Why do I not? What the hell? Okay, so the follow bug is getting me because I know I followed her yesterday because I looked her up. But yeah, go grab that. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Rebecca will probably get her on the show as well. Talking about some of the some of those items as well. So, all right. Well, I've waxed lyrically about B-Sides Seattle for far too long, I think. But even though it was well deserved, I'm going to yeah, I think I'm going to go back and start working on some of the um, hacking or hack the box items. We'll go through some of the SQL map stuff. And why do I not have a? Okay, we're on about an hour. I don't have a timer anymore on my OBS. So close. No. Okay, there we go. Thought I had it up and running. Hack the box academy. There we go. So there won't be any stream tomorrow night because I'm going to be having drinks hopefully with MT Taggart if everything lines up right. And so it'll probably be Tuesday, but it'll be later. It'll probably be around this time when I get started, depending on how late we go with our team dinner. And we're supposed to do something called Top Golf on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens there. So, all right, continue on with SQL Map Essentials. Yeah, let me. So if you have a chance, chill hop. We use it for background music here. Evil Needle is actually pretty good. I was listening to their lounge music on when I was listening to Dave's Lounge back in the day. You can still download those audio podcasts from Dave's Lounge. So, all right, we're gonna talk about SQL Map output. At the end of this previous section, SQL Map output showed us a lot of info during its scan. This data is usually crucial to understand as it guides us through the automated SQL injection process. This shows us exactly what kind of vulnerability SQL Map is exploiting, which helps us report what type of injection the web application has. This can also become handy if we wanted to manually exploit the web application once SQL map determines the type of injection and vulnerable parameter. So log message descriptions, they have a log message, URL target content is stable. This means there's no major changes between responses in case of continuous identical requests. This is important from the automation point of view, right? As stable response is easier to spot differences caused in the potential SQLI attempts. Okay. Parameter appears to be dynamic. Get parameter ID appears to be dynamic. It is always desired for the tested parameter to be dynamic, as it is a sign of any changes made to its value, that any changes made to its value would result in a change in the response. Hence, the parameter may be linked to a database. Okay, so like you're moving down rows, so you would have a different row or whatever every time, so the parameters may be different. Or the columns may be different, so you'll see something change when the parameter does something. In case the output is static and does not change, it would be an indicator that the value of the tested parameter is not processed by the target, at least in the current context. Okay. Might be an indicator the value of the tested parameter is not processed by the target. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Let me see. Oh, parameter might be injectable. So a heuristic basic test shows that the get parameter ID might be injectable. Possible DBMS MySQL. Okay, so this seems to be specific MySQL errors. All right, DBMS errors are a good indication of SQLI. Since an intentionally invalid value to use, one with extra list. You got comma, close parentheses, dot, dot, which indicates that the tested parameter could be injectable and that the target could be MySQL. It is should be noted that this is not proof of SQLI, just an indication of the detection mechanism has proven in the subsequent run. It's also a good way to maybe fingerprint the database type as well. I mean, if this is something specific only to MySQL, I guess MariaDB is built a lot on MySQL, so that might be something you'll need to look for MariaDB or MySQL or what have you. So, the parameter might be vulnerable to cross-site scripting attacks. So the heuristic XSS test shows that the get parameter ID might be vulnerable to cross-site scripting. So they must be running some kind of script tag, or maybe the response came back that all the fields were allowed. So you might or not all the fields, but like special characters like periods or closed and opened greater than, less than symbols and stuff that might support cross-site scripting. Backend DBMS is blank. It looks like the backend DBMS is MySQL. Do you want to skip specific payloads specific to other DBMSs? That's actually probably a good idea, because if you are scanning and it is MySQL, running a bunch of additional payloads may cause the database to not work properly, or may actually cause some kind of denial of service. So if you're trying to lay low, or you're just trying to test for specific things, also it cuts down on false positives. I mean, you run a bunch of stuff that is Oracle, looking for Oracle tests or something like that, it'll generate maybe a false positive or 3 that you're going to actually have to hunt down in MySQL to find out, well, okay, that only affects Oracle boxes. Well, if you'd have taken it out of the scan, it wouldn't have scanned for those Oracle boxes in the first place. In the normal run, SQL map tests for all supported DBMSs. In case there is a clear indication that the target is using specific DBMS, we can narrow down the payloads just to that specific DBMS. Okay. Again, that's removing unnecessary runs. And actually time thing too. There's definitely a time issue there. So Level and risk values. For the remaining tests, you want to include all tests from MySQL extending provided risk level 1 and risk 1 values. I'm wondering if it's like a low, medium, or high. If there's a clear indication the target uses a specific one, it may also be possible to extend the tests for that same specific DBS beyond the regular tests. This basically means all SQL injection payloads for that database management system. Okay. Maybe that's the one where it's like these are guaranteed to give you answers. These won't, but or are conditional in this case, or um, running those may present an additional risk of something happening to the database. Could be any number of things. I think it's probably well known that you're not gonna you. Well, actually, I can't say that, but there might actually be a way for you to limit what actions can be done. Like you don't want it to run CRUD actions on the system. Don't inject anything into the database or attempt to do tests that require you to put something in the database. If there's some legal requirements that you can't tamper with databases that have certain information in them, that may cause you some issues. So you may want to, limit the kind of tests that are being done. All right. Reflect. Wow, how long is this? Okay. So yeah, let me move a little faster through this because that was a little rough. All right. Reflective values are found and filtered out. So just a warning used by payloads found in the response may cause problems. Automated tools. Yeah, it gets rid of any extraneous stuff that doesn't add any value or perceived value. I'm hoping there'd be a way to turn that off so you can see everything regardless. Get parameters and Boolean based blind where having clause injectable. Okay. Wow. This message indicates the parameter appears to be injectable, although there's still a chance for false positive finding. Additionally, with dash string equals Luther indicates the SQL map recognized and used the appearance of constant string value Luther in response to distinguishing true from false. That's good. Okay. Time-based comparison models. Okay. Some of these are like, I don't know what to do with them exactly. Time-based comparison statistical models. Query injection techniques. So, spending a little more time on union checks. Heuristic check is check for usability. In case it is usable, it can recognize the number of union columns. Okay. So if a technique appears to be usable, but it'll load the logic, and load the additional modules needed to run those controls. All right. SQL map injection points. So that's pretty cool. So you can see how many injection points you have when you go to start fuzzing things. Okay. So it's a lot of like, knowing if the various parameters, get parameters, post parameters are injectable or vulnerable. So, all right. Giving myself 5 seconds of silence. All right. Running SQL map on an HTTP request. This is a lab. I don't know if I want to start this lab. I thought this was going to be one more page of this before I could go. You know what? I think I want to wait on this until Tuesday, or depending on what my setup in the hotel room looks like. Actually, I don't want to. Shouldn't be making promises about the hotel Wi-Fi. Should be good, but I don't have any guarantees. So if you see me on a small ass screen like this, and you're like, "Hi, I'm doing," yeah, that'd be because I have no other way of Twitch streaming. So I'd have to take a little hiatus. I want to wait on this. I think we probably should do so. You can always go back and read the rest of the sections and grok the output descriptions. But I think I'm just gonna do a little news. I saw some stuff. I think I want to keep the background music on. Let me see if I can turn it down a little bit more. It's too loud for everybody. There we go. Evil Needle, some good stuff. So, let me see. PowerShell scripts used to run malicious code. I posted that one up a couple days ago, I think. Angry IT admin wipes employer database. That's not good times. That's not good times. Han Bing, former database admin for Lianjia. I hope that's right. Chinese real estate broker agent, sentenced to 7 years in prison for logging into corporate systems and deleting the data. That's not good. That's some definite insider threat right there. He performed the act in June 2018. Oh, wow. So it's taken this long. He used his administrative privileges and root account to access the company's financial systems and delete all stored data from 2 database servers and 2 application servers. Damn. Crippling of the large portions of their operations, tens of thousands of employees. Yep. Oh, wow. So, yeah, their employees worked without salaries because, it looks like they could not, maybe it hit their financial system, but it also hit their payroll systems. It's interesting. The indirect damages, whoa, $6 billion. Jesus. Oh, 120,000 brokers, 51 subsidiaries. Oh, okay. Well, that's a problem. But yeah, they let somebody in the company have that much power. That's not good. That's not good. I did ask Sid about the protest wear stuff and how that affects people. And if you, he said, yeah, it's something we're going to be putting on threat models, but there's other things that you need to do to protect yourself that would, not alleviate it, but making necessary backups or whatever, keeping various modules in place, or in reserve or an archive that you can pull up yourself if something goes wrong. Final appraisal of the contracted forensic expert was that Bing had used the commands shred and rm to wipe the databases. The rm command removes the symbolic links to the files, while shred, oh my god, he was salting the earth. I mean, it was, wow. Yes, disgruntled employee? Question mark. Surprisingly, Bing had been repeatedly informed about security gaps. Boy, some people are going to be like, I felt seen right here. He repeatedly informed his employers and supervisors about security gaps in the financial system, even sending emails to other administrators to raise concerns. He was largely ignored as the leaders of the department never approved the security project he proposed to run. I don't think we're going to hear the last of this one, because this was confirmed by the testimony of the director of ethics, who told the court he felt his organizational proposals weren't valued and entered arguments with his supervisors. The problem is he had to go, look, I'll do it for you. And he did basically an unauthorized red team on his company with internal information. So it was, for all intents and purposes, completely open. That's rough. So similar case in New York, a New York-based credit union employee avenged her supervisors for firing her by deleting 21.3 gigs of data. 20,000 documents destroyed. She was a part-time employee for credit union until she was fired. Oh, they didn't revoke my access, so I delete pdrift lol. And then she corrected her message, including the typographical error, by saying writing the P drive shared file for the credit union's file server. Ooh, I deleted their shared network documents. Jesus Christ. Wow. Well, this one was way different though. They only spent $10,000 to get the data back. So huge difference there. Instead of $6 billion, it was $10,000. So yeah, boy, that insider threat will get you every time. Waves. Silent Wall. I heard about this one too. Sonic Wall urges customers to fix SMA 1000 vulnerability. Can you share the link for this? Looks like this is what I need to convince boss to do proper offboarding. Super. You were talking about the guy in 7 years in prison kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, I can get you that. There you go. And then the original New York post was right here. It's also a bleeping computer article. There you go. So SonicWall warns its customers to address several high-risk security flaws impacting secure mobile access. 1,000 series of lines of products. Unauthenticated access control bypass flaw. Okay, so what does that mean? And let's see here. Let's go and double check that. Because it's not remote code exec, it's broken access control. Right. Okay. Okay, I don't know what's doing that. Okay. So yeah, they were able to get around the rated high severity. Okay. Improperly restricts access to a resource using HTTP connections from an unauthorized actor leading to improper access control. Flaws do not impact SMA 1000 series running earlier versions than 12.4. So good news, if you haven't patched your stuff like you're supposed to, as long as you have 12.3.9 or lower, you should be fine. Yeah, so if you haven't updated to 12.4, you're good because it was fixed in these versions. So yeah. Security Affairs newsletter usually has some good stuff in it. Let's see. Here's this is Perluigi, I think. Paganini, yeah. Yeah. It's a good list of things for like vulnerabilities. Yeah, so the experts developed exploits for the RCE and F5. Oh, you know what? We just talked about this a couple days ago about agricultural reports or the FBI putting out that farmers could get hacked or agriculture stuff get hacked. Here you go. Look at that. AGCO, one of the most important agricultural machinery manufacturers, had a ransomware attack. I mean, they did send out some notifications saying that it's possible they could get hit, in planting time or harvesting time or what have you, because they know when to hit, like right now. So, any manufacturing machinery has been impacted. They had to shut down portions of its IT systems, and that impacted business. So something didn't get shipped, or maybe a widget didn't get worked on. So adversely affected for several days, potentially longer to fully resume all operations. Yeah, more likely to attack agricultural cooperatives during crucial planting and harvesting seasons, disrupting operations, causing financial loss, and negatively impacting food supply chain. They're hitting the soft spots, and soft spots are where Russia's not hitting nuclear power plants. They're hitting people that eat, So the lunches of the workers at the nuclear power plant. Yeah, I mean, they're just poking at them. It doesn't have to be Russia, but it could be other folks as well. There you go. Let's see what we got. Experts uncovered a new wave of attacks conducted by Mustang Panda. Mustang Panda. Guess you better slow your Mustang down. That was pretty good. I meant thought in my head, not singing. So, Thales researchers observed China-linked cyber espionage group Mustang Panda they called by anything else? Okay, so yeah, the pandas are China People's Liberation Army APT related items. So, all right. Final state malware employed in this campaign is the PlugX implant, custom stagers and reverse shells, and Meterpreter-based shell code. Relies heavily on sending lures via phishing emails to achieve initial infection. So either drive-by download or one of those open redirects that pushes a legitimate site to a malware site. Infection vectors deploy malware predominantly with custom stagers and Cobalt Strike. That was the other thing I was thinking about the other night. Oh, they're using Meterpreter too. Good job, Metasploit. Yay, good job, Meterpreter. Over the years, Mustang Pandas evolved their tactics and implants to target a wide range of entities spanning multiple governments on 3 continents: EU, US, and Asia. Yep. So yeah, that's a good one. That one does require a fish though, so that's the thought there, or some kind of lure, if you will, like I said. Let's see. Burnout won't prevent itself. Interesting. Everyone in the office wondered what had happened to Carolyn. People make sure to charge their phones. They don't always take the time to recharge themselves. Aw. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's hard though, you know. People, yeah, somebody was like, they were tweeting out that don't send me an email or a text message at 7 p.m. at night because and you're expecting me to answer. And the thing that I thought of was, well, we did it to ourselves by putting our work stuff on our personal devices, right? It's just become a thing that everybody expects you to, oh yeah, you're going to put your work email, you're going to put your Slack, your communications methods on your phone because, it's another way to keep you at work. And so it's almost avant-garde now to go, yeah, no, I don't want to put the MDM on there, and I don't want to put chat and email and stuff unless there's a compelling need to do that. Yeah, you should do what you can to keep your personal and your work stuff apart. I mean, you've got to find these, you've got to carve out these little areas of time away from work as much as you can. Take your vacations, do what you can to take care of yourselves, because we say around here, you're the only you have. You have to ultimately help yourself with the burnout stuff, or you burn out too much and your work will do that for you. So, something to think about. All right. Effective delegation. That's an interesting one. I may have to bookmark that one. I have trouble with delegation. It's one of those. I don't know what it is, but it's like some of it feels like if I haven't done it before, I feel like I need to be doing it before I ask my people I'm delegating things to do. So, yeah. 5 ways teach your face to express your heart. What is this? Some kind of emotional intelligence, EQ stuff? Yeah, maybe. Let's go back over down here to a sec. 0 days without incident, compromising Angular via expired NPM publisher email domains. And that was on NetSec, Reddit NetSec. Interesting. If you're looking for high-level points, see the TLDR summary at the bottom. Oh yeah, we're talking about NPM stuff. So where's the tilde at? Tilde, and this is quite a long discussion. So TLDR. Developers for highly installed packages had their NPM accounts registered to email addresses at expired domains. Okay. Registering these domains allowed for the takeover of important NPM packages. Oh, okay. AJV formats is a dependency of Angular DevKit core. Okay. Dependency security is a complex problem with risks, trade-offs that should be weighed carefully. Developers using custom domains for their email addresses should seriously consider the risks that you're taking on using the email for their online accounts. Wow, that is very interesting. I mean, um, yeah, I mean, it's one reason I had a Gmail account was because I never wanted to use the ISP's, email address. You know, um, if you have a ATTinternet.com account and you're like, oh, I've got to move, I'm not going to be using this ATT account anymore. They're going to charge you to keep your old email address, or um, it's going to shut down, and then all the things you've registered things, about using that email account or OAuth tokens would be going to that. So what they're saying here makes a lot of sense too. Um, it's clear if NPM has changed anything as a result of my report to them, and NPM users should be likely assume that this issue could still be exploited in the future. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that would mean, anything that might send a message to an unexpired domain might be something for people to look at work. What if you sold a domain back or let them expire and you've got infrastructure that's still sending messages to the SendMail daemon on some server over there? Um, yeah, that's quite interesting. I mean, it would take a little bit of doing to know which server, where it's located, what IP address, but I mean, seems like it would be somewhat doable if you looked at like DNS enumeration or something and you knew it was going to a specific place. CRT.sh, for instance, would tell you that, or at least tell you which domains you could name your servers. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. Where old log files go. What if you were sending them event logs? Even maybe you had a misconfigured log server that was sending it to 2 or 3 different places, and a copy of your log files gets sent to a non-existent domain. So that's very interesting. Wow, so it would almost require you to get a non, something like a Hotmail account or a Proton Mail, or require um, require GitHub to give them a developer account that they could maybe then forward it on to wherever they need to go to. But then I guess you're just adding another level of complexity there. So interesting. That's let me put that one in the chat window here as well. There you go. Yeah, I have to go back and read that one, so I'm glad I've got that one to read. I'll have some time potentially to read at night, so let's see. Turning a Coke can into an eavesdropping device. No, go back to the other thing. There we go. They're like the metal ones, huh? Like a super ear or something? Oh, this is dark reading. It takes 10 seconds to render the page. Probably because I'm blocking a bunch of their shit on their page. Oh, yeah. Double click. Ew. GTFO. There we go. Testing the bounds of optical attacks with a technique that allows attackers to recover voice audio from meetings if there are shiny, lightweight objects nearby. Wow. Okay. Can a smartphone stand or any shiny, lightweight desk decoration could pose a threat of eavesdropping even in a soundproof room? Researchers used a telescope to collect the light reflected from an object near the speaker and a light sensor. Holy shit. That's pretty good. So they're measuring the light waves, they're not measuring the sound waves. Lightweight object with a shiny surface reflects the signal with enough fidelity to recover the audio. Damn. That's pretty awesome. I can't hate on that one. That's good research. I wonder if it would change, if the can was open versus open in full, or like when it was open and would it vibrate at different intensities and they'd have to calibrate it accordingly? Because it would maybe vibrate more with no liquid in it. It's interesting. For example, researchers demonstrated ways to reconfigure the audio out jack on a computer to an audio in jack, thereby using speakers as microphones. That is cool. Photo chip bag to capture sound waves. Capture the keys typed on a keyboard by sounds and time between keystrokes. I did read that one. Yeah, that one was kind of interesting. Yeah, go check that one out. Okay. Well, just I think I probably need to go get myself ready. I've got to go pack, go get myself. I'm taking a flight tomorrow, so I've already checked into my flight, and I'm gonna be in LA for the week. But like I said, I'm gonna be on here at least maybe once while I'm down there. So the setup may be looking a little weirder, but it'll still be me. So um, yeah, I hope everyone has a good week. Hope it was better than last. Hope it'll be better than last week. And you know, be kind, stay kind, and you're flying out of SeaTac tomorrow. What time, Kimisek? No, what airline? Are you following me? I'm leaving like 1:30 from Alaska Airlines, so supposed to get into LAX at 4:30 tomorrow. So you see, you're definitely following me. Okay, well we'll see. We'll see. If I work with you, hit me up. Oh, Spirit. Okay, yeah, it's not. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, Yep. Well, I'm leaving at 1:30, so I'll be flying. You'll be flying ahead of me, so I'll be. Yeah. But I'm going to LA. So if you and I are both going to LA, it'll be, good and happy times. So anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna. I hope somebody wasn't here and I just didn't see them. Okay, it was just me. Little me. Yeah. So take care. Hope your week is a good one. Oh, you're heading to Vegas. All right, Kimisek. Yes, awesome. Yeah. Uh, you know, er, you're heading out a little early for DEF CON and Black Hat, but you're definitely ahead of everybody. But yeah, we'll see you next week. Probably, I'm looking probably to Wednesday or Thursday to do another stream. So I want to do it before then, if at all possible. Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. All right, Kimisek, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Appreciate it. No, that's where I live. I'm just. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad glad things are well where you can go and head home after taking care of your dad. That's awesome. Hope everything's good and he's recovering or doing all right. Whatever he's recovered from whatever he was dealing with. So. Yeah, appreciate everybody for coming on and listening, and yeah, appreciate all the positive energy you get from those conferences. So that's something I did miss too. I feel somewhat invigorated. So it's good to see. All right, y'all have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Bye.